Welcome everybody. First things first, as always, if I could just get a quick audio visual check, please. Let me know how you're doing, and let me know that you can hear me, and let me know that if you can see my charts clearly and all that sort of thing. And we'll get started, guys, because oh boy, no easy way to say it. Actually, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna be a little bit full of myself here for a little bit. You'll have to forgive me, but yeah, this price action has been quite wild. Pretty aggressive selling lately. So yeah, we'll discuss that in a second. Just want to make sure, get the go ahead that people can hear me and see everything. It's all good. Thank you, Luke, so much. All right, guys. Let's put it this way. Bitcoin's not looking great. To be honest, those of you who have been in my recent streams and in my Telegram channel, this shouldn't really be coming as a surprise to you guys. Honestly, I was half expecting us to find a bounce here. Just very recently here, because we have been ranging sideways for a couple of weeks now where we've just been getting these swing fails. And I know I was warning about it in the Telegram channel, even on the stream I did before I left town there the other day. Basically, yeah, I was talking about this swing fail since, when was that? I think that was Friday. I was warning about that. And guys, that was without knowing anything about a Bybit hack. That was without knowing any sort of fundamentals, playing the upside. I'm not looking at fundamentals, you guys. I have no insider info to any news. I'm never trading the news, period. This was all basic price action. And that's exactly why I was able to keep a level head through all of this. And guys, before you want to blame that, an exchange got hacked and that sort of thing. Yeah, I think that gave the market the push that it needed, maybe. But the signs were already there. On the Wave Master here, we had a big juicy reversal warning up here, right as we were trading at resistance. I was warning about that swing fail. Yes, even though these are just wicks, we were setting slightly lower lows, but then same thing on the upside, right? I mean, we were just getting these swing fails, grabbing liquidity, and then going back to the top of the range. And then look at that. We end up breaking above the range slightly, but just a liquidity grab back to the bottom of the range. Just a liquidity grab back to the top of the range. Liquidity grab back to the bottom of the range. Now we've actually broke out of this range. One thing to consider is, yes, we still have potential support on our left here on the 4-hour. I am not worried. I'm still seeing two potential levels of support here. I personally think the best thing that Bitcoin could do right now would actually go and do a liquidity grab below 89K. I know not many people want to hear that, and I know a lot of people a few days ago would have thought that we're never seeing those levels again. Honestly, like just how I'm showing you these liquidity grabs, these swing fails up here in this little range, I would love to see something like that on our support level down here. I'm not so much looking at this level. Yes, I see this level, but I'm not as interested in it because since we've actually had our bullish structure in the chart, this was the last time we had this higher high. That means our lowest point between the two is here. Notice I have this range outlined with my white horizontal levels here. And guys, that range has formed on Trump's inauguration day. I was kind of calling for a bit of a sell the news event, even if it's a short-lived pullback, kind of like what we've seen so far. It was just very obvious in my mind. Yes, I know a ton of people had FOMO and thought we're going straight to the moon. I get it, especially if this is your first cycle. I get it. But just understand trading the news or fundamentals and your gut feeling on fundamentals. Everyone knows you're not supposed to trade a gut feeling, right? You're supposed to trade the charts. But people like to say, well, this time's different for these fundamental reasons. Well, yeah, but you don't know what the fundamental reasons were when you were back testing your strategies either, right? So at the end of the day, in my opinion, it's always chart structure first. But basically, since we haven't broke out of this range at all, this isn't actually my higher low that I'm concerned with. It's more so this level that I'm interested in, because that would actually be the bottom of the range I'm looking at. And that's down right around 89K. If we can get just below that, grab a little liquidity and get no 4-hour candles below that level, just kind of a wick or two, and then end up flipping, or well, basically not flipping, I shouldn't say that, reclaiming and then holding that as support. I think at that point, I would actually be quite interested in a long in that at that time. And I know not many people are used to seeing me talk about things bullishly. Those of you in the Telegram, you'll know that I did actually take a hedge long the other day, and it actually played out very nicely. Yes, recently the last quarter of it got stopped at break even. I was taking profits in the triple digits on that one, so it doesn't owe me anything. That was a beautiful trade as well. Hopefully some of you guys caught that with me. I know I shared it live. But yeah, basically, I'm not bullish on the chart. I will take hedge longs at obvious support levels. If we end up getting some sort of a swing fail at this support, yes, in that case, I'll be temporarily bullish. But if we start losing that level, if we get a 4-hour close below this level and then flip that support into resistance, I think at that point, Bitcoin's in a very scary place. I guess it depends, scary or not. You guys know that I've been warning about this signal since we were down here. I said I really thought just how the RSI looked, how we dropped out of overbought conditions. I thought we were lining up for this very exact double top bearish divergence. And that was back here. That was around Christmas. I remember talking about it. Yeah, it was right down here. So since Christmas, I've been waiting for this exact thing. And people were telling me, oh, if it's so bearish, why hasn't it played out? It hasn't played out because this is a weekly chart, you guys. If this was a 1-minute chart and it took 4 minutes for a chart pattern to play out, would you be saying, well, why isn't it playing out? This trade is garbage, right? I mean, it's a weekly chart. It takes a long time to play out. So basically, I'm bearish until proven otherwise. A lot of people are waiting for that bearish move, but we already have the warning signs there. I will be bullish again, you guys. I just don't, all these bearish things that I've been pointing out for all of 2025 so far, not one of them has been invalidated. And I've been very clear about that once one of them gets invalidated, I will consider being a moon boy again. I can't wait to be a moon boy again. I just can't do it right now. A few things that need to happen. One, we break resistance. We just set a new high. At that point, I think we have a confirmed higher low. We're staircasing higher again. The trend continues. Great. The fact that we have this bearish divergence, it's not just a bearish divergence, you guys. You have to understand, I don't know how many of you guys actually do back testing. I know a lot of traders just jump right into throwing their money around as practice, and that's not necessarily the thing to do. I'm a big fan of back testing and figuring out what your odds are before actually throwing money behind any kind of strategy. This exact double top bearish divergence is something that I back tested 3 years of data on the 4-hour and the 1-hour chart, and it's my highest hitting accuracy type of reversal setup. It back tested something crazy like 87, I think it was 87%, where it would actually play out quite a nice sized reversal on the 4-hour and the daily chart. On the weekly chart, yeah, you know what? So far, we've dropped about 18% or something like that, I think. Not even 15%. This is the smallest signal that's ever called. I mean, this called the end of the last cycle. It called the COVID crash. So many times where we've seen this pattern. So on the weekly, I'm not going to ignore it. You guys know I trade more so the 1 minute and the 5 minute. This is a very specific double top that I play every time I see it because the risk reward is so crazy. So, if I'm going to play that on a 1 minute or a 5 minute, chart structure works the same, you guys. This looks exactly like a 1 minute chart would look with the same setup. So until this RSI divergence gets broken or our highs get broken, the high frequency trading bots flip back to the upside, some sort of a bullish reversal warning, anything, there's just literally not one of my bearish signals has been invalidated yet. And I've been talking about all of these signals since, well, like I said, about Christmas. So sorry to go on a little bit of a rant. And I know a lot of you guys here with me have been taking my warnings very seriously. And guys, this is not to say that it is the end of the bull market. It could be. I'm open to that idea. I just react to the price action as it happens. But basically, all I know at this point is I'm not even really shooting for targets. To be honest, I've taken juicy profits off all of my short positions. They're still running just in case it keeps going. I'll get into those in a sec. But basically, I will be bearish until proven otherwise. I did not sell all my crypto. I am not panicking about any of this. I am just simply trading the downside as a hedge to my portfolio and a way to make money on the downside, because as a trader and as traders in this channel, We just care about the volatility. The direction to me doesn't matter. And that's a very big edge to have in the market, is not giving a shit about fundamentals, never looking at the news, never listening to speeches, no matter who's giving them. I don't do any of that. Any trade I take is 100% pure chart analysis. And, I've gone both ways before, and I know which way I'm going to continue going. So you guys, actually, you know what? Last night I was actually warning about this weekly close, guys, in my Telegram channel here. I posted about an hour after the candle closed, just saying, I was surprised the candle even closed green, but I still had all these warnings basically. And today we're down 4,000 US dollars now from where the price was last night. So, it was a very serious warning, and it led me to open some beautiful positions. This was actually a hedge. Some of you guys will remember. I took this about 2.5 weeks ago, something like that, at 101,626. That's still, I still got a quarter of that running, still got a quarter of my other Bitcoin short running, still got a quarter of my Litecoin short running. When you can set your emotional bias aside, and you guys, I want to be clear about something. I'm so bullish on crypto as a whole. It's just that when it comes to trading, I don't care. I don't have an emotion attached to which direction we need to go. Because at the end of the day, trading, it matters way more how you're going to react. If the price does this, I'm going to do this. If the price does this, I'm going to do this instead. That's very much more so a trading mentality to have versus the price has to do this, and I am not going to change my opinion about this. Two very different things there, guys. So anyways, that's all that stuff. You guys, if you want to be a part of my Telegram channel, I share some of my trade setups, just my overall ideas on the markets, things I'm looking for, levels I'm watching, all that sort of stuff. If that is something that interests you, like I was talking about earlier, I even took this long. I've taken maybe 2 long positions this year so far, you guys. 99% of my trading has been to the downside, but I did share that here. So yeah, everything from the swing fails, guys, this goes back to Friday before the Bybit hack there. Just notice I was looking at this very level-headed, talking about this swing fail here, saying it didn't look good, showing the swing fails here. If that's something that interests you, just keeping a level head and looking at the market as a trader rather than the typical crypto Twitter echo chamber type of thing. Do yourselves a favor, scan the QR code, follow the steps in the description down below if that's something that you want to be a part of. Guys, yeah, I wish I had better news. Like I said, was that either earlier today or last night? Basically, the market, this weekly chart looks so bad to me. I don't know. I just can't help but feel like the floor is absolutely going to give out. But like I said, I'm not blind to the idea that there is, in fact, still some support here. Like I said, there is this level here. You know what? Maybe that's where we find support right now. But again, I'm just more concerned with this because that's the actual bottom of the current channel that I think we're in on the 4 hour. I think it's really pulled from 89K up to 110K. That's the full range that we're in. Until either 89K drops or 110K breaks, that is the range that we have. There is going to be smaller ranges inside that range. But my bearish opinion basically stands until something different happens. Basically, either one of those signals on the weekly showing up or the 4 hour breaks some crazy structure, whatever. Or like I said, a swing fail there. Yeah, guys, obviously bounces are going to happen. The thing is, with the way this range itself on the 4 hour is posed, this is technically bullish structure that we have this high, higher high, higher low, right? Because since even though that was a swing fail, right, guys? We wicked above, but we never got the candle bodies above. I'm still willing to consider it. At least we set a higher price there, but it's obviously weak because it had the swing fail. So if that swing fail has momentum behind it, yeah, maybe we straight up reverse and go down for quite a while yet. I would at least be willing to consider a long setup. I'm not right now, unless we get that swing fail. Something that I had, I mean, far in advance, obviously, was this Stuber fib back here, which you guys were all ready for because I was ready for it back at these levels. But since we've already tested that support, and I mean, actually, let me just extend it out even a little bit further. Something like so. I'm actually going to remove all my swing fails here as well, just to clean up the charts a little bit, you guys, because there's a couple other things I want to bring onto it in a sec. Yeah, until I'm going to leave this up here, but this 4-hour candle closes in about 12 minutes. If we close below this, then there's no chance of a swing fail there. Yeah, so guys, basically, like I said, we did play that Stuber fib setup there, got some nice profits on along there. The fact that we've tested this support so many times now, that's my big concern with it at this point. Usually when I play that fib pocket, I only play it the first time because as we tap away at it, it gets a little bit weaker. Yes, support is support until it's broken, but it's just a little bit riskier now than it was this time. You know, when everybody would have missed it, because at that point, it wasn't as obvious to most people. Everyone was telling me you're never going to see that level again. Instead, I longed that level just because it was basic Stuber fib structure there. If this was a 5-minute or a 1-minute chart, I would not have longed up here because I don't long into resistance. I would have waited for, hey, yes, we got a higher high. Now I want my pullback. So yes, that's why I went long on the 4-hour back then. But at this point, I feel very different about this support box. So like I said, I'm more concerned about this. I'm actually going to add a note. And I want to be notified once per minute when it ends up getting touched, because I want to see what the price does on the shorter time frames around this level if we get there. At this point, I'm actually gonna remove this one. Yeah. I want to see what the price does at this level. If we get that swing fail, I'll be looking at hedging a long position. But as it stands right now, I can't help but feel like this looks like a big Bart Simpson. It just looks like the floor is ready to dump. Again, obviously support is support until it breaks. I'm actually going to move this over to just something like so. So we've actually tested that support a couple of times already. Yeah, I just don't have a lot of faith in it. Like I said, I'm willing to play a hedge, play along if we get the swing fail there. But other than that, I'm just looking to ride part of my shorts and looking to scalp new shorts, you know, Stuber fibs on the way down, whatever. Right now, I think it's a little bit risky to be shorting. Yes, I am very bearish on the charts in general. But I mean, we've been dumping so aggressively today. I mean, it's obviously getting a little bit risky for shorts. And that's where I think, you know, waiting for that swing fail might be something a little bit safer to look for. Sorry guys, if you've been chatting here, I do have to catch up a little bit. Let me know as well, guys, what you think. Are you super bullish? Do you think that I'm totally out to lunch with my bearish theories? Do you think that the bull market's over? How do you feel? Because honestly, as far as the midterm, I have my bearish gut feeling, and I'm happy to be invalidated, basically. I don't know if the market cycle is necessarily over, but I'm open to the idea because I'm positioned well if that happens, basically. Because the thing is, guys, it's not like when I see this pattern on a weekly, I'm not going to guess that it's the top of the cycle. But just like back here, I'm just bearish at the time because the trend is now, you know, showing a warning. Eventually it broke. And like I said, that's what I'll be watching for with this, basically. I was watching for this RSI to break. And last night it looked like the RSI was breaking out of this line. But as I mentioned, I was saying basically that, you know, we had 6 days left on the candle. So that RSI was not locked into a breakout there yet. And so far, it looks like we're getting that rejection. Just like any trend line that I would use with basic price action, I like to see a third rejection before it breaks out. So the fact that it's getting a third rejection, that's not even necessarily a bad thing, because now if we actually break that trend line, I consider it a valid trend line because it has 3 nice touch points on it. I can adjust it very slightly here, but you get my point. Basically 3 exact touch points on that trend line, basically. So once we break that, then I'll consider the possibility that, hey, maybe we're going to the upside a little bit. But as it looks right now, it just looks gross. Just straight Nuketown. I do not want to try and catch this knife. If we did something like this, where we break some structure, at least at that point, you could try and get yourself into a long, something like this. I'm personally not interested in long in this market until I see if we get that one swing fail, or if we end up breaking, even if we go a little lower. But if we get some sort of a big pump of some kind and then come back down, I would consider longing that retest, because I'd be looking for some sort of a Stuber fib in that case. But until we have some sort of a sign that structure has broken, even on a lower time frame, I mean, guys, these are just lower high, lower high, or lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. This trend is just getting absolutely stomped. And notice that, even as the trend goes, sometimes you can still get yourself into a nice continuation, right? Like, sometimes I like getting into positions late. I never took this one. I never even added to my position here, but I was just watching, because if this Stuber fib would have got invalidated, I was actually going to lock in some more profits on one of my shorts, just because it would have been an early sign that, hey, maybe this is reversing, but it just continued to the downside. So often we get those 786 retests, even in a trending market like this. I mean, there might have even been one right here if you really zoom in. Yeah, look, another one there. You just start to see them everywhere. The more you see them, the more you can't unsee them, basically. I know this is micro-analyzing for a lot of people, but you can see the structure in here, and then as it breaks, you get that retest, and you just see it so often playing out. So, yeah. Guys, also, speaking of that, if you are interested, again, just to go over this, if my free Telegram channel does interest you, I did make some educational content recently as well. I do have this video here, kind of going over the basics of the Stuber fib strategy, my favorite trading strategy. It's about 95% of my trades, probably. That is made public on the Financial Summit YouTube channel. So you can do yourselves a favor, check that out, even if you're not a member of my Telegram channel. But then, of course, as a token of appreciation for those of you guys who actually do care what I have to say and are listening to my posts in my private channel there, I do have this added video that goes much more in depth into breaking down the market structure and how I look at reversals and that sort of thing, and identifying ranges when playing those Stuber fibs and how I pull them. So that if that's something that interests you, again, get in that free Telegram channel, scan the QR code, or click the link down below and follow the steps in the description. Been pretty vocal about my bearish thoughts on the market recently, even when I switched bullish very short term there. I kind of explained everything on the way. So just like I said, some of my trade setups, just important levels I'm watching, my overall thoughts on the markets, just showing more and more examples of how I pull Stuber fibs and that sort of thing for my favorite strategy there, how I go over scalping, updating some of my positions and that sort of thing. So if that is something that interests you, scan the QR code there. Yeah, guys, still just nuking to the downside here. Litecoin as well. We finally got a big drop out of that 4-hour Stuber fib. Finally just hit that 0.5 fib. Honestly, I mean, if Bitcoin keeps dumping, even without Bitcoin dumping, this Litecoin chart, I see no reason why it wouldn't test the 214 fib. That's kind of my next target for that short. So we'll see if I get it or not. But as always, treating any position I take as a bit of a scalp, right? I am more of a scalper myself. So usually I'm taking a quarter to more often half of my position. I am downsizing very quickly, making sure I pay myself, pay my fees, and just reduce my risk overall. And then if the other half of my position catches a home run and the trade continues, kind of like what just happened with these positions that I'm in, then that's great, right? Usually I'm not closing an entire position. I like to ladder into positions on my way up through my fibs, just like I like to ladder out of my positions, taking partial profits along the way. Because if you're only swinging for home run trades like this, I mean, you're going to get wrecked because the market range is way more than it trends like this. But then at least if it does happen, you still got some on the table and you can catch it with part of your position. So that's how I like to trade myself. Bitcoin, that is just rough. I know in my last video, guys, I think Saturday morning, I did a video with you guys before I left town there. I was also pointing out that, we had a lower sell signal on the MDX Trendmaster indicator. And when I look at the direction that these things are trending, the fact that we got a lower buy signal followed by a lower sell signal, I took that quite serious, especially when we started just respecting the shit out of that resistance, right? So that also helped push the price to the downside. So again, a lot of things were starting to show up in the charts before any hack or anything. And also, guys, like, that's actually, I want to keep that up too. As far as people blaming that, oh yeah, an exchange got hacked, no wonder, everything was going so good and then this exchange got hacked. Let's just take a look at the, traditional markets and see that they have been doing the exact same thing. Absolutely been getting hammered since Friday. So it's not just crypto, and Bybit definitely didn't cause anything in the traditional markets or anything like that. So that's, again, guys, going back to just analyzing the price and how ready I was for some sort of a 4-hour swing fail, and just how ready I was for potential downside on the weekly. Even if I was wrong, I was at least open to the idea that it could be happening, right? So that just goes to show that, I don't think the news had anything to do with it. Yes, it might have sped things up and made it a little bit more aggressive, but I think all the markets were kind of trading at resistance either way. And I think that it was just bound to happen. I think this price action was going to happen with Bitcoin anyways. Let me just check on my positions here. If we even close a 1-minute candle above that, I'm going to close a quarter of the remainder of my Bitcoin short, because this is very micro analyzing, but this has been such a nice position that I don't mind taking some profits. But just the fact that, yes, again, micro analyzing low, we got slightly lower. This is the highest point between the two. Even looking at the 1-minute structure, with structure that tight and minuscule, and it looks so unimportant, it can affect the price greatly. So any red flags towards my short position, or green flags, I should say, I guess, which closing a candle above this, I would consider that. So I'm just going to get ready with a partial order here, because this position is currently sitting in a 330% profit. So I don't mind taking some more off the table here. Yeah. All right. And we locked in a little more. Perfect. See, and that's the thing, guys, too. A lot of people will ask me, oh, I don't know what to do right now. I don't know if I should let my position run or not. What I just did is a perfect example of what can be done. You can always close some of your position and then let some run, right? Like I was talking about earlier, I love laddering into positions to help my average entry and just to tighten up my risk. Just like I love laddering out, try and catch those bigger moves, but also making sure to pay yourself, right? I am not willing to open some sort of a hedge position at this time. Ooh. No, I'm not going to open a hedge. Not yet. I want to see us get down to this level. It might not happen, you guys. I'm not saying we are for sure. It's just that since I'm not bullish anyways, I'm not really desperate to get into a long position. I know so many people have so much FOMO. That's something I haven't felt in this market for months at this point. So it's a very relaxing situation to be in, quite honestly. All right, time to catch up on some chat. What did I warn? I warned that the weekly chart looked like trash in all of my streams for the last month or two. Basically, I warned about that weekly signal. Ryan here gets it. Well, the charts look awful, shocking, terrible, but at least Stu isn't streaming. There's still hope. YouTube notification. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, sorry to be the bearer of bad news. The old Stu Bear fibs have spoken. Bear trap as normal, and yeah, that absolutely could be. Honestly, if we reverse from here, I've locked in great profits. I don't care. I would love. Here's the thing, guys. A lot of people think that me being bearish on the price and trading the downside means that I hope everything goes to zero, kind of a thing. Understand that my altcoin bags are taking a shit kicking just like everyone else's right now, right? So if we break new all-time highs and we go absolutely parabolic and we actually get some sort of an altcoin season, which I don't think we will, then in that case, I'll be a very happy man. But until then, I have no problem trading the short side either. But the thing is, anytime somebody, and guys, this is kind of a lesson, I guess, is anytime somebody says they know for sure what's going to happen with the charts, I ignore their opinion, or not even ignore, just I don't take their opinion serious, because any good trader I know will always say that, hey, if this happens, I'm doing this. If this happens, I'm doing this. It's always planning for a few different scenarios. So if people say, oh, we're not going to that level, we can't go to that level, we're definitely going to this level. Honestly, I take that confidence as a lack of competency, I guess. Not to say it can't happen, obviously, but it's just one of those things that I will never say we can't go to this line down here, or we can't. Honestly, guys, if we drop this support, understand it. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I want to be very clear about this, but understand that this would be a typical Stuber fib setup where we would go down towards 63K. Again, we do not have to go down to that level, but this is exactly what the chart looked like up here. Basically, when I was warning that, hey, I think we were going back down to 94K because we had this setup. A very similar structure in the chart. And people were telling me there's absolutely no way we go back down to these levels. And we did. So anything can happen, and understand that bear markets happen. This wouldn't even be a bear market. That would just be a healthy retrace. But it's absolutely possible. I personally don't really think we're coming down to these levels. I want to be very clear about that. I don't think we go down to this support level, but if we do, I will understand that it's not manipulation. It's not that anything crazy happened in the news. It's that the chart structure showed that it was at least possible we come down to these levels. Trading is all about probabilities, all about back testing data. Like I said earlier, I've back tested the shit out of this reversal signal. So even as it goes right now, you know what? We got a 15% correction to the downside when everyone said we were going straight to 200K. You know what? I'll take it. There's been very nice trades to the downside. The account is looking good right now. My spot bags aren't, but my trading account is. I sold all your crypto last week. See you in a couple of years. Mortal Dubstep says. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about it. I still won't say that the market cycle's over, but I'm open to the idea. You know what? It's just bearish right now. And until that's invalidated, as soon as my bearish theories get invalidated, then I can be bullish again. I'm just getting a lot of the same arguing, or even some of the literally the exact same people, some of them, that were arguing with me when we were down at, I think we were around 18K, or maybe it was just when we bounced and we were at 20K. And I was saying that I really thought the bottom was in for basically the exact opposite uh, uh, signals that we had. We had the exact opposite. And people were telling me I was wrong and that, oh, FTX collapsed. Yeah, we're going down to at least 12. We're going down to 10 to 8, whatever. But no, and you know what? I got very bullish at that point, and I was bullish for, I don't know, a year and a half or so, but I'm starting to get kind of the opposite vibes here. My only thing about this, guys, is like from a timing stance, I don't think it's time for the bull market to be over. I can't help but feel there's another 6 months to a year out of it. But when the chart structure turns bullish again, I will revisit that idea. I'm not married to that idea, just like I'm not married to a bear market right now. It's just, you know what? While we have these bearish divs and stuff, the high frequency trading bots are literally pushing the downside the last 4 weeks. You know, it's just something to consider. $91.5 still dropping. Let's dive into some shorter time frames. See, so here could actually technically be that Stuber fib like I was talking, right? I'm not willing to long it. I am not brave enough to long this market right now. But again, guys, don't be silly. Like, we are trading into support. So understand I have been taking profits off of my shorts. Okay. I'm bearish, but I'm not blind. But oh man, this, to me, this looks like a big ass Bart Simpson. I don't think it'll actually drop that straight, but understand that if that's what price action happened over here, it's very likely to happen if we lose support on the other side, because there's just a lot of untested structure. There's just no consolidation on the way. So it's a very straight shot. Quite often when you get those big moves, either direction, the opposite move is just as big and just as fast. Mystical, once again, you were right. Well, thank you. Do I do manual backtesting? Yes, with the replay feature in TradingView. Yeah, that's exactly it. Heisenberg is the top on the weekly right now. That's exactly it, right? That's that same double top. It used to say cycle ender here. But we had that same double top bearish divergence there. And notice again, when that divergence finally broke, notice we tested it about 4 times. But when we broke that, it was time to continue to the upside. So again, as soon as we break this, I think that's going to be our first warning sign that the bulls are back. So I'm not stuck in bear mode. Like, I am very much eagerly awaiting for any of my bearish signals to be invalidated. It just hasn't happened yet. And yeah, those high frequency trading bots are pushing more aggressively to the downside now. Yeah, she's well, like I said, guys, I was warning in the channel last night that I thought there was a good chance this was going to be an ugly week. And guys, again, I never listen to speeches. I never read into fundamentals. I never follow the news. I just straight up, I trade the charts, because you know what? At the end of the day, if anything fundamental is going to affect the charts, the chart structure will validate that theory. A lot of people will try and just go into trading the fundamentals without waiting for the chart to agree if it's going to matter or not. And guys, if that's something that interests you, just just reading about straight up market structure, looking at some of my favorite strategies, how I look at structure, Fibonacci pulls, how I look at some of my favorite indicators and all that sort of stuff. Do yourselves a favor, scan the QR code, follow the steps in the description down below. And yeah, it's free to join. You need to deposit $300 into a BloFin account that you need to sign up with my link. And that will get you access into the group. That is not a payment to me at all. That is your own money to trade with. I'm glad I never took this. That is, yeah, like I said, that's your own money to trade with in your own new BloFin account. But yeah, we've been crushing it in the channel there. So there is the QR code for you. Yeah, guys, again, even with this little minor structure break, yeah, I locked in a little more profits just because I'm being cautious. We're getting near support. I'm looking for any reason to lock in some more profits. But yeah, we're just continuing to the downside. Exactly why I never closed the whole thing. I want to laugh about this a little bit. Just, you guys know that I was I'm actually shockingly not in a short on Trump right now, you guys. And I'm very disappointed in myself because, oh man, had I held on, this is one of those times I really should have held on to my head short from like 21 or whatever dollars it was. It was a beautiful short that I ended up taking, but whatever, I took my profits on it. But yeah, I've been very vocal about this coin. I can't be bullish on it, for one, just because Bitcoin is looking rough. I do not expect a meme coin to just fly out the gates when the whole market, not only the crypto market, but all markets across the board are in a rough place right now. I'm really not willing to bet on a bunch of meme coins. I don't care if Trump runs it or not. This has been a straight sell-off, just like any other meme coin. If this was any other meme coin, people would be saying it's a rug pull. That's all there is to it. But yeah, people are giving me a hard time for starting to short it when it looked bullish, because it always looks bullish right before you reverse, right? Yeah, I need to start looking for more shorts on that again eventually. Oh, secret agent man Sam in the house. Welcome, brother. Good to see you here again. Smash that like button. Appreciate it, my man. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. Holy hell, we have 100 people watching. So thank you guys for being here with me. Again, if you really appreciate my level-headed approach rather than the typical echo chamber, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Guys, it's fairly lonely being one of those people who's been openly bearish for quite a while now. I know that when you get on crypto Twitter and stuff like that, it's a whole bunch of bullish hopium. Every single fundamental, anything that's happened in a previous cycle. There's just so many influencers just grasping at straws, just trying to make any sense of this. When you guys have been, for those of you who have been watching in the Discord, I mean, we've just been ready for it, right? It's just basic price action. The 4 hour here, I mean, we were ready for that swing fail pattern there. This was nothing to do with any crazy manipulation event. This was just charts. And that's something that, yeah, unfortunately, a lot of your favorite traders on crypto Twitter and stuff like that don't necessarily look at market structure as closely as they should. That's not to go after anyone specifically. I just, you know, as a guy who spends a lot of time on Twitter and stuff, I see a lot of those hopium posts, and it's unfortunate. I feel like a lot of people have got lucky in the past, and now they just have a big audience because they're rich, but they're not actual traders all the time. And that's what we aim to do in the Telegram channel, is we're actually trading, you know, looking at market structure. I very rarely go over fundamentals at all. I did mention that there was that hack the other day just as a cautionary thing, but honestly, I'm not trading fundamentals. Even something like that, my shorts had nothing to do with that. Literally nothing. Still never have tested my bearish Stuber fib box either. Guys, that's another thing I want to mention right now, just in case we do get that swing fail. You know, if we get something like this, either one, we just end up flying to the upside now, or two, we end up getting that swing fail I was talking about. understand that there is going to be so much hopium in the space if we get near all-time highs again. And it happens all the time because the bulls always look strongest at resistance. FOMO is always the strongest at resistance, but you heard it here first. There's a lot of people who are going to FOMO in there. They're not going to try and catch support. You know, those same people who are trying to short into support late are going to be the ones who are going to try and long into resistance late, right? So just be cautious of those levels. Those Stuber fibs, the 786, 886 fib pockets, they are such beautiful bull traps, bear traps. It depends which way you're looking at it, but it's just one of those levels that, hey, as you're going to retest those levels, it looks like it's going to break. It always does. So I understand why people get that that emotional attachment to the idea. But just understand, you know, as traders, as a trader myself, I more so like to sell resistance and buy support rather than, you know, longing with leverage into resistance or shorting with leverage into support. I mean, that's exactly what you don't want to do, in my opinion, unless you have some sort of a back-tested strategy, right? Some sort of a breakout. You have a set of rules that you need to follow before willing to pull the trigger and that sort of thing. But other than that, is it that I don't think fundamentals move markets or just don't follow fundamentals? Fundamentals definitely matter at a point. I know one person in my life who trades fundamentals and news well. But the thing is, he is trading a weekly time frame, not a 5-minute chart or a 1-minute chart or even a 4-hour or a daily chart. So fundamentals do matter as far as investments go. I would never, well, at least in the last 3 years, would never try and trade fundamentals like from a day trading perspective. Well, I can promise you that I have more than $1 on my position. Honestly, guys, even that being said, like my trades, other than the people who are actually in the group and following along, my trades shouldn't even matter to you, to be honest. Like everyone, the thing is, even with a back tested strategy, like you should always back test your own strategy before you're trading or anything. Like what one person does doesn't necessarily affect how you're going to do things. But yeah, if you don't think that I'm a real trader, you don't have to be here. That's fine by me. Do I ever trade the 15-minute or the 1 hour? Very rarely. When I started trading, I traded the 15-minute, but I found at that point it was so close to scalping, but not quite. So I moved over more so to the 5-minute. The 1 hour, I will look at from time to time. It's very rare. Like if I see a very specific setup, like a swing fail on a 1 hour, or I notice a Stuber fib on a 1 hour, or my indicators, let's say a lower sell signal on a 1 hour or something like that, I will definitely consider it. But then I'm still more so zooming into the 5-minute. Just because I do use high leverage. Like that's the thing too, right? Like when the percentages for the positions are big, like understand that not everyone should be trading with 69x leverage or 25x leverage or whatever. You need to have a pretty good understanding of risk management and that sort of aspect. Like you don't want to be blowing up your account in 1 or 2 trades. You know, you want to be able to be wrong a lot, especially if you're trading shorter time frames, because that obviously leads to over trading and stuff like that. I look at the 4 hour more than the 1 hour. I more so look at the 1 minute, 5 minute, 4 hour, and then weekly. Those are my favorite time frames. Gonna bounce and then get out before Friday. I mean, that very well could be. The last several Fridays, I believe, have been big sell-offs, haven't they? Buy now, sell now. Chat is bipolar. Honestly, right now, I just think we're in a tricky spot. I think no matter what, Bitcoin is in a tricky spot right now because I think we're bearish as hell, but we are at a support level. So even if we're going to continue to the downside, I think a bounce is quite likely very soon. I agree with that. 109 was the tippy top. Maybe. Like I said earlier, I don't really have a strong opinion whether or not the market cycle's actually over. I feel like from a timing point of view, I just don't think it is yet, but the chart's bearish right now on the weekly. And yes, there is some nasty reversal signs there. So I'm open to it. Yeah, Heisenberg, you see this pattern breaking down, making a bear trap before a big move for the upside. Yeah, exactly. That would be kind of that swing fail that I was looking for, right? I hope we do see it, but I do want it to be this support level down here because I wouldn't really consider it a swing fail from this level. It might hold. Honestly, this might be the support that holds. I can't say for sure it isn't. It's just not my ideal setup, so I'm just not FOMOing into it, basically. But if you have your own back-tested strategy or that's a level you're into, I mean, yeah, I at least see reason for it. But I just think there is a possibility for a bit of a liquidity grab. How do I feel about the market? Well, apart from my hopes and dreams being flushed down the toilet, I feel fine. Yeah, we've all been there. Don't feel too bad. How do I access the Stuber Fib indicator? The Stuber Fib is actually a strategy of mine, my own, based on market structure and Fibonacci pullback. But that being said, I mean, there is the MDX Algo Master indicator. Right now, this one, obviously, that's invalidated. That this thing does call a lot of the same indicator, some of the same fib setups that I see. But like right now, especially when the market's nuking like this, I mean, it hasn't even tried to update itself for a while. But yes, so often I see, actually, that was showing the same thing. I don't think it is anymore. No. Actually, so that indicator, yeah, it also would have predicted that that swing fail we had on Friday. We never quite broke my 115 invalidation there. So I wasn't even playing that as a Stuber. I was playing that as a swing fail. But yeah, bringing up the Algo Master, I mean, it was looking at that. So technically, yes, I do have an indicator that shows it. There should be a link down below in the description for a discount to get the MDX Algo indicators as well. For those of you with me here, some of you guys probably are in there. Actually, I know some of you guys are. But for those of you who like the indicators I use and that sort of thing, yeah, there should be a link down below for that. So there is the auto Stuber fibs, but I still recommend getting to know how I actually pull them as far as the structure goes, so that you can actually find out or so that you can actually find your own and verify that they're actually valid. And that's something that I go into in the video that I shared just the other day in my Telegram channel. Is I did share this video that's a much more in-depth breakdown of the market structure, just range recognition and that sort of thing. But there is a very basic video as well, just kind of a Stuber Fib intro video, public on Financial Summit's YouTube channel as well. She's starting to bounce. She's starting to bounce. I just can't bring myself to be bullish right now. Sorry, guys. Trendmaster still a very aggressive sell signal to the downside here. I just don't want to mess with that. We have resistance coming up very soon here. Yeah, guys, I wish I had better news for you, but the charts all look somewhat bad to me, in my opinion. Again, guys, it is very possible we end up bouncing soon because we are at support here. But like I would be nervous opening up a new short at this point, for example. I wouldn't want to be shorting into this support level. But I'm personally not willing to long it at this point. I am willing to buy out chunks of my short position. I'm willing to take partial profits. I still have 25% of my short from 101,626 running. I now have about 20%, or maybe even less. How's my math? Around 20% left of my short from here. And Litecoin, I still have a quarter running as well. But again, taking profits on the way, because I don't know for sure what's going to happen. Anyone who says they know for sure, they're lying to you. Or they have some sweet insider info for real. Last time you bought BTC was 67K. You're Gucci. No, right on. Yeah, 67K, not a bad time. We might be back to those, down to those levels in a couple of weeks. We'll see. I'm just kidding. Obviously, I outlined the possibility for it. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. You never know. Lambo still parked in your cold wallet. There you go. You guys are cracking me up. Cut the ramen noodle blocks in half. Safe 125x long here. You never heard that from me. Heisenberg, our trading styles are similar, you say. Well, I like to hear that. So there's a good question on blockchain circles. Stu, I know you have been shorting Litecoin and Trump. Why not short more alts or especially meme coins? So the main reason why I continue liking shorting Litecoin and Trump is they have good volume, they have good liquidity, they're still volatile. A lot of altcoins don't. I've told this story a few times on some streams. Is that I have traded. This was on a different exchange, but there was a couple times where I have traded altcoins with leverage. And there was one time specifically, I remember my stop loss was in a 20% profit. It was an isolated position, so this didn't really matter all that much. But I had my stop loss in a 20% profit, and my position got liquidated. That put a bad taste in my mouth for trading altcoins. I never really traded altcoins for quite a while again. Other than that, yeah, then when the Trump thing happened, I mean, I was like, well, this is a nice early hyped coin. I'll start shorting the shit out of this on the way down at like, I think it was around 55 or something. I started shorting that constantly. But yeah, it's mostly just concerns about volume and liquidity. What does Stu stand for? The name. That my name is Stu. Shakeout before moon to 300K. I'll agree it might be a shakeout before the next all-time high. 300K is aggressive. Generally speaking, every market cycle gets smaller, diminishing returns. And it would be really weird if this market cycle went from being totally messed up and sucked dry from certain altcoins and, you know, so many scams and everything. It would be really weird if at this point, this cycle went way bigger than the previous cycles. I would say at best, I would guess like 140, 150K. I'm very happy to be wrong about that, but I really don't see us breaking over 200. But we'll see. The market doesn't give a shit what I think. How do I see the high frequency trading bot? That is with my Wave Master indicator, another MDX indicator down here. That's these bars down here. Whole slew of indicators I got there. Very, very top tier. Love the indicators. I use the RSI sometimes, like on the weekly like this. You guys see me using the RSI, but for the most part, I just use the MDX algo indicators at this point. For me, it's always market structure first, and then I'm looking for those second opinions out of indicators. I know a lot of people look at indicators to try and force as many trades as possible. They have serious FOMO and just want to be in a position, so they'll find any signal to go long or short, for example. I personally use indicators a lot more for just like a warning to stop me from doing things. You know, if I, for example, right now, if I felt like longing just because, hey, it looks like we got a nice little bounce here, I'm going to long into this every chance. Every time we get a green candle after some falling, I'm going to start trying to long it. But then, you know, for example, we have a sell signal here, a very aggressive one. Just a bit of a reminder, hey, there's still resistance very nearby on a very strong trend. Maybe hold off on that. Same with things like liquidations. I really like this indicator showing the high leverage liquidity, or liquidations. I was talking about that right at this level in the Telegram as well. Some very cool indicators in there. Here we go, Anders. Are you Canadian? Because if so, then this is the first time in my life I distinguish between an American and a Canadian accent. I have been told a lot recently that I have a very thick Canadian accent. That's funny you say that. So yes, I am. Well done. Sam, come on, Moon Boy Stu, you can do it. Yeah, you know, I was once upon a time, I was there. You know, you were there with me. If that's a Bart, we're done for. Yeah, it sure could be. Trump and his wife rugged us. Well, them or their team, whatever. All I know is, so when I was looking at the Trump meme coin, and when I started looking at this on the way up, I pulled up, I was one of my meme coin wallets, like BullX. I use BullX for trading meme coins sometimes. And I went on there, and right away, a big red flag, a big red warning goes across my screen saying that the top 10 wallets had over 85% of the supply. And it gives that warning if any have over like I think it's over a 10% supply. Or it's either 10 or 20, but they give that warning. So the fact that it was that high, I just laughed. Last I checked a few days ago, it was actually 92%. So they actually hold more of it now. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a rug pull, but they definitely took some profits on their followers. How much weight do I give the long short ratio for retail? Something like this, for example, like right now, even though we're dumping so aggressively, retail is still almost 67% long, generally a very much on the wrong side of things. To be quite honest, I pay attention to the long short ratio just to get an overall feel, but it doesn't actually affect my trades. I use it more as does it make sense that we could see further downside? Yeah, retail is still trying to long every single time it dips. So yeah, it still makes sense. So I more so use it for that. Fucking A bud, she's thick. Yeah, I was just joking with my buddy about that the other day. I got the fucking rights bud. Blame Canada. I have been accused of being Canadian AI. Canadian AI? Yeah. Um, the indicator that shows the high leverage positions, that would be the liquidations indicator. That is another MDX algo indicator. And it can be used as bands, or you can also look for direct levels. So actually, thanks for bringing that up, because that is something to consider why we could bounce fairly soon as well, right? We've grabbed most of the high leverage liquidity here. So yeah, you know what? Even though I think that the downtrend will continue, I wouldn't be surprised to see us grab this liquidity up here first. And check this out. Just to line up with that, if we pulled a fib something like this, that would be a classic Stuber fib bounce, grab all this liquidity, and then head back down. That would really fuck with a lot of people. I could see it. Again, just another reason I'm okay taking some profits off my short. But I'm not going to trade based solely on this, but it's 100% on my radar now as, hey, there is liquidations above us. And the reason for that is because it is people FOMOing into a short, into support, just like I was talking about before. So now people will get liquidated if we bounce. Whereas really what people should be doing, if they're looking to get into a short, they have FOMO, they want to be into a short, they should be waiting for that bounce, right? Rather than just FOMO. Like, this is straight down. Especially these liquidations, that's all 50 to 100x liquidations. With how much we've been just nuking to the downside, I mean, there's going to be some sort of a bounce at some point. So I love keeping my eye on that indicator for that. Just as, again, just a way to keep a level head. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bounce soon. I still really hope we get the swing fail down here. That would be a perfect setup to catch that swing. Binance retail at 72%. Yeah, I mean, that could depend what time frame, could depend what exchange. Fear and greed, I usually don't even look at. Is that even on here? Yeah, it's showing a 49 fear. I don't know. I personally, you guys, all of those things, I feel like it's often people trying to reach and find something that lines up with their bias. Not to say that they don't have their time and their place, but I'm not going to trade based only on those indicators, basically. It's more looking at them for confluence. So yeah, let's say if the fear is way too high and we end up breaking some bearish structure, but we're still trading around support on a retest or something like that, and the fear is extremely high, then yeah, maybe it's time to go long because the market is fearful at support. But I don't know, to each their own. I do look at them sometimes, but I don't take them all too serious on their own. Liquidations, I do take serious because so often, so many people are getting liquidated. Fear and greed dropped from 49 to 25. It might also depend which fear and greed. Like if it's on the MDX site versus I think there's another one just called the fear and greed index, but I don't know if they are the exact same or not. Actually, that's another tool I want to bring up. Let's close the liquidations band. AI tools. So notice also this has been printing, just printing these red boxes. So basically resistance, technically supply zones. But yeah, just obviously we haven't even printed any form of support at all. We've just been printing new lower lower red resistance boxes. High frequency trading bots are looking like they're going to curl to the upside on the 5-minute chart. So take it for what it is. What's the 1 minute looking like? Let's be proper degenerates here. Wave Master had a reversal while we struggled with resistance here. Bit of weakness. Is it gonna just continue nuking? I don't know, but man, this trend is just aggressive. Like, guys, that weekly chart has been playing out so beautifully. And honestly, there's 6 days left, you guys. This candle could close green. We could just do a liquidity grab down like this and just end up absolutely mooning. Who knows, right? Anything's possible, and that's why I'm taking profits on the way down. Currently just kind of testing around the daily open, which would have opened about 45 minutes ago or so. Shortly after I started the stream, I suppose. Along the exact bottom. Perfect. Love it. How low can Solana go? I'll take a look at Solana in a sec here. But first, I saw this question. If we pump from here, what is your target short term or short time? Oh, if we bounce, well, for one, I see this indicator just printed a new confirmed lower high here. So something must have happened with volume and stuff. So I would say first things first, we need to get above 90. Well, this is BloFin prices, but we need to get above 92,125. We need to at least break that, because that's an ugly downtrend. We have not seen one break since up here a few $1,000s higher. But other than that, like a 4-hour, like I said, I think it makes sense if we do get a bounce. I think it makes sense to grab most of this liquidity. That resistance that I mapped out earlier, because I did have that range, basically where we got our swing fail pattern up to on Friday, that's the resistance that I would be watching as far as the shorter time frame goes at this point. So I would even consider pulling a fib. The safest bet would be, again, looking for some sort of a swing fail where you end up breaking, just getting a wick above this resistance basically, and then shorting the retest of that. That would be safest, just because your invalidation's so tight. But other than that, I mean, I don't know if we're going to get that high, because we have this Stuber fib right here, right around 97.6 up to 98.5. There is a fib pocket there, and that's basically where the heavy liquidations end. That's kind of, we have that cluster up to that level, and that's where it ends. There is still that little bit more up at 100.4 about. But yeah, I don't really see us getting above that. If we do get a good bounce, now let's talk about if, we get some serious follow through from the bulls at this level. That's where my blue box kind of comes into play, because I'd be looking, where's the next place that we have, where did we lose our uptrend basically? Up here is where we pivoted. So I'm just going to pull the price or the fib down to where we have currently bottomed so far. And notice that that's where my 786, 886 fib pocket is. That blue box there. So, there's no doubt about it. Just Bitcoin has resistance now. On the shorter time frame, yes, we have this little micro trend resistance. If we end up breaking that, I mean, we definitely have more resistance above. If we end up breaking all-time highs, then at that point we can kind of discuss the potential of what the chart's looking like at that point. But maybe we get a swing fail to the upside on the weekly or something like that. That would be just devastating to the market. But it's too early to claim anything like that. So yeah, like I said, potential resistance up around 97.6 up towards 98.5, and then more resistance basically starting at 105, 106K. Still holding Grafane. I'm still holding some of my Grafane, and she's taking an ass whooping. I did at least sell some near the top, but yeah, I'm still holding a bag. Like I said, guys, as far as this market cycle goes, like I'm not going to complain if we break out to the upside. You have to understand my bearish theories are only the direction I'm trading with leverage recently. As far as hoping what my investments do, yeah, I would love to see us continue a parabolic bull market. I just don't know how likely it is at this point is all. I did mention I was going to look at Solana. Take a look at the BloFin chart. Oof. Oh, boy. Yeah, we sure. I was obviously looking at a potential bullish Stuber in one of my recent streams. I don't know when that would have been, probably before we were even back here. But yeah, even that didn't hold. We lost those lows. Oof. Solana does not look good, especially after dropping that level. Basically looking at this order block, we lost it, flipped it into resistance. Oof. Let's zoom out a little bit. What can we, oh God. I mean, obviously we're coming up to, at least there's this, guys, at least on something like Solana here on the daily chart, at least there was all this price action back here. So there is some structure in the charts at least. I'm just very concerned about some very important levels that this chart has lost. I have my concerns about that. I don't like that it flipped this order block into resistance there. Oof. Yeah, like if this is going to do a full-on retest, and guys, I am not saying this has to happen, but understand from a basic charting perspective, it's very possible that Solana comes back down to about $75. Again, does not have to, but if this downtrend continues, I mean, that's kind of where I'm eyeing up right now. That if on a macro time frame, if this was a 5-minute chart, that's where I'd be looking at long in. Take with that what you will. I also want to show this, guys. Remove drawings. I just want to go back and just kind of show you, this is the log scale, but I just want to show you why I show these Fibonacci levels so much, and why I don't take it serious when people say, oh, you can't hit those levels again, because just understand what the chart loves to do so often. Look at these market cycles, you guys. Bear market bottom or start of Bitcoin trading, whatever you want to call it, up to where that cycle topped. Notice where we end up finding support there, right in the 786, 886. Now let's pull from that bear market to that bull market. Where do we find support? Right in that pocket there. Let's pull the next cycle. Where do we stop? Boom, 786. So before you tell me that, because I know a lot of people are thinking it when I claim those bearish price targets, when people say that we can't hit those levels again, understand that every other market cycle has done this kind of thing. So if we were to reverse or even just get a capitulation, something like a COVID type of panic mode, whether it's a war, a misunderstanding, a virus outbreak, whatever, the price could technically drop all the way down there. Just like it did back here, right? Like I said, even COVID did it. Boom. Perfect. I think it even wicked in there and didn't Yeah, the candle body's basically closed in there very slightly, but yeah, absolutely perfect. So you start to see these absolutely everywhere. And that's why I say, like, the time frame doesn't matter to me. I treat the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 4 hour, the weekly, I treat them all the same. And that's why I've been so openly bearish basically since Christmas. Basically since we were trading down here and I saw that RSI go like so. And as soon as we dropped, it's not even so much, guys. I know a lot of you guys are probably familiar with my theory, or with not even my theory, my opinion about this is that, it's not so much when we're overbought that I have the problem. I know a lot of people say, oh, we're overbought, we have to reverse. No, no, no. It's when we lose that strength. That's when I have my serious concerns, because at that point, you guys, look at this. Look at this RSI and tell me, what does the RSI stand for? Relative Strength Index. Strength index. Okay, so we're tackling the same resistance back here. This is obviously important resistance. That's where we topped out. Why would we smash through that level with significantly less strength? And even more importantly, why would we be smashing through this time with even more significantly less strength? So it's not so much the whole overbought, oversold thing with the RSI, but just understanding what a divergence actually means. And when we lose that overbought, in an uptrend, overbought just means there's a shit ton of buying pressure there, right? So that's a ton of strength. It's when we lose that strength that I have the issue with that. And that's why I've been very bearish about this. Tone said if 93K doesn't hold, then 88K is next. And if 88K doesn't hold, then 73K is next. Yeah, sure could be. I typically only follow my only levels that I'm watching, basically. So I think 63 is quite possible, but I do see reason for like that 88, 85. 88 would be perfect, honestly. That would be that swing fail that I want. I would love to see us drop to 88 and then just get back above that level. I would love to long right here. Would love it. Yeah, I can't say the price looks overly bullish at this point. Sorry, guys. Can we retest 15K or even fill gaps down below that? I mean, anything is possible. I will never say that that can't happen. I don't think we do go that low. I really can't see us going below, I would say 56, and even that, or no, sorry. I can see us going below that. I can't see us going below 26K at this point. I don't really see us even getting down to that level. And honestly, it totally depends where this cycle tops out. Because if we take another leg to the upside, then my Fibonacci pulls change, right? This box would actually expand a little bit. So we'll have to see when we actually pull back. Because that's the thing, when I do the Stuber Fib strategy, like when I'm looking at the 1 minute or the 5 minute, it's more so like once I get my structure reversal signal so that I can start pulling a new range, I basically follow the price with my fib until I get back to that fib pocket. You don't always get the play that you're hoping for, but that's basically what I do. And so at this point, if we keep going higher, then my full on bull market fib pull is going to continue on higher. And that could change these boxes, obviously. But even looking at this, guys, like my liquidation bands indicator, notice how well that's held support in the past. So right now, the fact that it's lining up with my the macro Stuber fib pocket, yeah, you know what? It's possible we go down there, but I really, and guys, understand that even if it did happen, it's not happening in the next week or two. That's a weekly chart that would take a long time to play out. And again, at this point, I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's really, I just like looking ahead as a way to keep a level head when that crazy price action happens. Because if you think that Bitcoin won't blindside you ever again, I mean, you're very wrong. That Fibonacci log chart where I pulled those were only support though. So understand those weren't calling for an actual reversal, right? It's just more so that if the cycle reverses, that's where I'd be looking at support. It's not so much that that's my target at this point. It's not that. I more so look at this as, hey, if we do get a crazy capitulation, I know where I am going to be buying as much crypto as I possibly can. That's more so why I look at this ahead of time, because also something to consider if this happens. And guys, I have to keep repeating this just so I don't trigger anybody, but this doesn't have to happen. But if we start losing some of these crazy levels, at that point, I'm going to be setting limit orders everywhere, just spot limit orders everywhere, because I don't think that it's going to be the type of move that you'll be able to say, I'm going to see how this plays out overnight. You're going to miss your chance, because if we get there, I do not see it lasting long. So understand, I'm not a perma bear. It's more so I'm open to the idea of downside price action. And if something unexpected happens, I want to be ready for it. Because you can almost guarantee that people are going to be waiting and be like, and at this level, this is going to happen. And they're going to say, oh, I was going to buy there, but something came up, something happened. I never ended up buying there. Because whoever was planning to buy there is most likely emotionally going to sit there because it looks scary, because the bearish price action going into support always looks scary. And people are going to sit there and wait and not be willing to pull the trigger. And the people who do are going to be handsomely rewarded, in my opinion. And again, that's all if it happens. Very theoretical at this point. Going to be a big reversal end of the week? You mean a big reversal to the upside? Absolutely could, right? I mean, I truly believe this Sunday in 6 days, that candle close on the weekly is going to be quite telling, in my opinion. Because basically, if this candle ends up closing green, I really think we're going to end up breaking this RSI divergence, because even last night when the candle first opened, we were above this trend line. But being it never closed, it wasn't valid. And now we're getting rejected off it. If we end up closing a green candle, I really think we're going to break that again. And I think that would be it would at least be my first warning sign that there is potential strength there. I really think that's going to be the first thing to make me start turning bullish again. Remember, in a bear market, so many scams will explode. Sailor liquidation, many news about scammers, tether stuff like that, exchanges go down. I personally don't think Sailor's going to get liquidated. I know that's something that a lot of people like to get into from time to time. I don't think he will, because the thing is, he's not the one FOMOing in at the cycle top. Yes, he's still buying at the cycle top, but he very much started accumulating at a very good time last cycle. I remember, because I was wondering who the hell this guy was and thinking how smart he was and stuff. But he was very much so buying significantly lower, and he's been in the game for a while. I think what we're going to see happen at the top of the cycle is we're going to see a lot of people try and be like him. We're going to see a lot of strategic reserves and stuff, and we're going to see all that go sour. And that's where we're going to get our next, Three Arrow Capital, Voyager, Celsius, Luna kind of situation. I don't know for sure. Obviously, like I said, I'm not a fundamental guy. That's just totally the way I see it going. I think it's going to be the ones when you start hearing, and everyone's going to be super bullish about it, right? You're going to be like, oh, all these multi-billion-dollar companies, all these massive companies are using Bitcoin as a strategic reserve, and you're bearish. And that's going to be when the bear market blindsides everybody. And it's those people who are getting into that kind of a thing late that I see them getting liquidated. I think Saylor, I don't know exactly how his business model works, but I know there's shit to do with like his stock price, the crypto price. He has that, what is it, like a stock based on derivatives or something like that. I know they pay dividends and stuff. He's got more going on than just buying Bitcoin. So I have a feeling that he's going to be okay, but we'll see. Yeah, exactly. If the BTC goes low enough, he'll just single-handedly buy all of it. Yeah. Who knows? Well, guys, Bitcoin's still struggling with this lower high on the 1 minute. Litecoin bouncing off the 0.5 fib a little bit. Like I said, the one thing I think going for the bulls right now is all these liquidations. Let me just remove a couple colorful things here. Let me actually change my colors just in case that's hard on anybody's eyes. Yeah, the only thing leading me to be a little bit cautious on the bearish side right now is obviously we're at support, and to all these liquidations up here from people trying to short late. But we're going to have to see. The market doesn't look great. Those are just things making me cautious, but I would not say they're making me bullish. Two very different things. Anyways, guys, I think that's about all I wanted to go over today. Hopefully you guys did find this stream useful. If so, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. And as I mentioned, if you want access to my private Telegram channel where I share some of my theories, trade setup ideas, just my overall thoughts on the market, some videos about diving into the Stuber fibs and how I look at the structure and range recognition and all that sort of good stuff. There is a QR code on the screen, as well as a link with steps to join in the description down below. With that, I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Thank you all so much for being here with me. With that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.